Welcome to the Sisterhood Tea Party, where we get together weekly to discuss all the tea about life, relationships, pop culture, and generally anything you'd chat about with your best friend over a cup of tea or beverage of choice.
We're your hosts, Stephanie and Jessica, and we've been spilling the tea to each other for more than a decade, and now we're ready to invite the rest of you to the tea party.
Hi!
Hey!
Hi!
I'm so excited.
Me too! Everyone, today we have a special episode for you all. We told you that season 2 would be looking a little different, and that's because we have been sending out invitations to the tea party, and today we have one of our oldest and bestest friends, Carlin, joining us.
Yes,
Hi.
we are so excited. Hey, girl, so excited to have you to the tea party today. Carlin is one of our best friends and also part of our OG JCPenney crew. If you know, you know. She's a badass mother and wife, a customer service manager who has excelled in her career, as well as an active member of her community, serving on the board for various local organizations. So with that, welcome, Carlin.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for having me. I am excited to be here.
So Carlin, on the show, we like to start with the top of mind. So again, what is your top of mind right now? Like, what's going on with your life right now?
Yeah, so we are working on various home projects, so that's probably my top of mind. Most recently, we are building a playhouse in our backyard for our kiddos to play in.
Oh my gosh, I feel like you've always been like a do-it-yourself like girly. Like I'm always like blown away by your different projects because I personally do not have the patience. How is this one going compared to some of the other ones you've done?
Oh, I mean, it's going well. I think that with this one, we're kind of building like the dream playhouse, like the vision that we would have had when we were kids if we had adult money. So it's huge, it's monstrous, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm excited to watch the kids get to grow up with it.
I am so excited to see it. Please post pictures, send it to us because I've always wanted like a Barbie dream house situation or just a dream house in general or any kind of playhouse. So I'm very, very excited to see this.
Yeah, also, are you like recording your progress as you go so you can like do like a little TikTok story time compilation kind of thing?
I should do a better job of taking videos. I have a lot of photos, but I need to compile them.
Awesome. Cannot wait to see it. How long until you think it's done?
We're aiming, we're aiming for April 14th, so soon.
Like you have like an official deadline.
I was gonna say it's
We
coming up
do.
soon.
Yes, yes.
So excited.
That is awesome. Stephanie, what is your top of mind?
Well, right now is I'm headed to Chicago in about a month or two for a work trip, so I'm really excited. Funny thing though, I've actually never been to Chicago. So I've flown a bunch of times, for work and different things and have had layovers in Chicago, but never actually had time to spend there. So if either of y'all have been to Chicago, let me know. And I need some recommendations because I'll be there for like 2.5 days. So would love to know the spots to go eat, hang out, because I will definitely have some downtime to kind of explore and do my own thing, which will be nice.
I will send all the recommendations. I will say I literally just heard about last week. There's like some Michelin star restaurant that's downtown and it has like a sister place to it that is a bar that has like really cool, unique, fancy, of course, overpriced, but like really cool cocktails. And I'm gonna send that info to you because I think you should go and you can tell me how great it is because I like hate that I didn't know this existed the last time I went to Chicago.
I do love an overpriced cocktail, so send it my way.
When in Chicago, you may as well.
Absolutely. If
Right.
I'm gonna do something, I have to go all out. Like if I'm gonna go to a place I've never explored, I have to do all the things that I would never normally do. So send me everything.
I will. Carlin, have you been to Chicago?
I have, well, once when I was a kid, and then um, as a semi-adult in college, but it was a very, very quick trip, and I was kind of walked around with a chaperone almost, so a friend who had lived there. So
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good to
I will
know.
drop some recs. I do love Chicago.
Thank
It
you.
is a fun city. Speaking of travel, so my top of mind is the Southwest Companion Pass.
Okay.
discovered that I have. I did not know that I have it. So if you don't know what it
Jess?
is, I'm so excited. Literally. Okay. So for folks that don't know what this is, basically, if you qualify for the companion pass through Southwest, basically you get to assign a person as your companion for the year, which is like the duration that you have the pass. And that person gets to fly for free with you for the entire year. Um, I have the Southwest credit card and I pay for everything with credit cards so that I like get massive points. And so I apparently built up enough points last year that it gave me the companion pass. And I was on a flight last weekend and I was like falling asleep reading my book, but we were like 20 minutes till we were landing. And so I was like, oh, I'm just going to play around with the Southwest app. And I like came across it and I was like, what? I did not know that I had this. And
That's
so then
amazing.
for our trip coming up this weekend to Dallas, I had booked that trip with points for my husband and I went in and I switched it so he's a companion and I got like 25,000 points back. So I'm so stoked. I'm like, okay, we need to start planning trips this year because it's like 50% off for every
Here
trip we
they
want to
are.
take now.
That is incredible.
Yeah,
I have never been able to qualify for that. So, you know what? I
That's
am
the
jealous,
best like
but
surprise find.
100%.
truly. Truly. My thing is like every single time I travel for work, I book Southwest. I will not fly anything else so that I get the points off. It's like free points, right? My work is paying for the trip. I'm gonna get the
Yeah.
points. And then I use my Southwest credit card, which I just qualified for literally last year. So I've only had it for a little over a year now. And I use that to pay for literally everything so that I get points on everything. And then I just pay it off in full every month. So I'm
You
very
know,
happy.
that is a good testament to share with people that you need to build loyalty in a particular airline, hotel, like anything like that, because perks like this pop up and then you can like reap the benefits of it. So it's a good little lesson and reminder for me to do the same thing when I travel.
Do it. I love this. I love hearing all of our top of minds, but let's get into the real tea. Because Carlin, you're our first guest on the show. We're so happy that you're here. Maybe we should like start by just like sharing a little bit about how we all met, because we all met pretty much at the same time, which is awesome.
We did. It is. It's so crazy to think about. So I remember when Carlin started at the JCP. We met in 2010, which is so crazy to think about now. I was looking at our
Yes.
I was looking at our Facebook like memory, what is you would call it? The Facebook like friendship page or whatever. And I'm
You're
like,
Mhm.
showing your
oh,
age.
oh, that's fine. They can see it. They know. Let them know. Let them know. I still have Facebook. I still like use it every 6 months. Anyway, so I was creeping through it and Carlin and I have like a very interesting history. So we've always been friends, but like we had this weird period in the very beginning where we would like throw shade at each other and we would put it publicly on our Facebook walls. So like we would just like say off the wall stuff back and forth and people would be like, is everything cool with y'all? And like people would comment, text us, reach out being like, hey, like I saw that you said this about Carlin or Carlin said this to you. Like, is everything okay? It's like, yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, we're good.
Like everything's good. But obviously we grew out of that and, continued our friendship over the years. And now being at a distance is like, we've still been able to keep in touch. Like we don't chat every day, but we still keep up with each other, every once in a while. And it's just been nice to see follow your journey with your family and seeing, your kids through social media. It's just amazing. And I love that we've been able to continue our friendship over these last several years.
Yeah, I think so too. I think well, one of my favorite stories is just the journey that we've all had from um being these young adults in Hayes working at JCPenney to just growing and really spreading our wings respectively and getting into the fields that we want to be in, curating the lives that we want to have. And it's just one of my very favorite um, growth stories. So.
Yeah,
I
I
love
agree
that.
with that.
Same. I literally remember like I don't even remember what it was called. And at the university there was like a what was that common area with the like the union or something? What was that? Was it the union?
I think it was just
Mhm.
called the Union. Yeah.
The
I feel like
union,
I
yeah.
always sat there with both of you or one of you between classes and just like people watch. Like that was like early people watching days. And we would just like sit in between classes and just, I mean, to be frank, just judge, like just people watch people that were
We
walking
really
through.
did.
It was a little unhinged. Carlin, I actually don't remember like our very first interaction. I just feel like every college memory has you in it. Like I'm like I was like thinking about, I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, we met at JCP, obviously, but then like you were just like we were just like always together, it felt like.
Yeah, I don't know that I can pinpoint like a day or a memory that, it all began. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
it
And I
it was
remember
fun.
you used to
We had a
host
lot of fun.
dinners at your house.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And then I would host these like themed parties, sometimes at my house, sometimes I would find someone else's house to like host it in.
Take over.
Also, do you guys remember the clothing swap party that we did?
Yes. Yes. Because that popped up on my memories like some time ago. And I'm like, what? Yes. I remember exactly where we were too when we did that clothing swap party.
Yes.
I like miss being like close to you guys where we could just like do random things like that on the
Yeah.
weekends. It was so fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Love it. Well, Stephanie, you already like brought up how our, and Carlin, you mentioned it too, like how our friendship has grown and changed over time. Like, I feel like that's a really important topic for
Yeah.
women our ages because I don't know, I'm sure you guys agree with me, but like for me, friendship has like always been number one in my life. And I feel like having female friendships is like such a joy and such an important part of life. But I also think that they like shift and become harder to maintain through distance over time. And I too think it's like beautiful that we've been able to stay in touch on these like periodic basis. Like we do these like Zoom calls every once in a while, and we're like just complete dump of everything going on in our lives over the last 6 months to a year kind of thing. Like how have you guys felt like that has been from your guys' perspectives? Like, I don't know, that's like kind of how I think about it is like, oh, I need to like make sure that I like we schedule something or like make sure that like I give them some kind of update on this going on when something significant happens. Although my life I feel like is pretty boring and just like not a whole lot of big events happen. But like, yeah, how do you guys think about that?
Well, I would echo that. I think that one of the differences, obviously, is geographic, right? Like we are more spread out than we have been in the past. And so we don't get to do those weekly dinners or those themed parties. But what we do get to do is cheer for each other from afar, whether that's on social media or just our text chain or whatever forum the group chat is in. And the Zoom calls every once in a while, I feel like we always somehow pick up where we left off. And so that's something that I feel like this group of women is very supportive, and it's an important part of my adult life for sure. So
Yeah, I would completely agree with that as well. It's been honestly a blessing to keep the both of you in my life over these years. I mean, I, reflect on my friendships, year after year. I'm just like you two and like others that that I've known have been some of my longest lasting friendships. And I'm so thankful to have that and be able to cheer each other on from afar, like you mentioned, Carlin. And having those, check-ins that we have just to see how we're doing and see how we can support each other, I think is the biggest thing. And that support really does carry a long way.
It does. It does. Also, I freaking love when you guys drop like a random memory. Just like Carlin, I think you sent me one, I don't know, maybe like a month ago or something of like some like art project or something that we did. Like I
I
don't
think we
even
were
remember
making
what the event was.
Christmas ornaments during finals week.
Yes, I remember it was like one of those branded activities of like
Yes,
de-stress yourself from
right.
finals or something like that. We looked like babies. We were so
Yeah.
little.
Yes,
I'm
we did.
I think I remember that too. I'm pretty sure I invited y'all to that because it was a activities board like event. And I was like, y'all need to come to this and
Yeah.
support.
Well, now that we are here in this later part of life, um, Carlin, I have had a bunch of things I've wanted to interview you about because I just think you're incredible. Like all the things that you do, I'm like, I don't know how she does it because like I'm exhausted and I don't even do like a quarter of what you do. So you're very involved with your community. You serve on various boards and organizations. Like, tell us about that. Like, how did you get involved with that? What are some of the things that like, I don't know, encourage you to get involved and like what like tell us like more about like what are some of those things that you do?
Yeah, so I just had a really good model for community service growing up. And so that's just something that I felt like going into my adult life was normal. It didn't feel like extra to me, I suppose. And then in my community, I live in a smaller community. And so part of doing well at work and building some of those connections that you need to have go hand in hand with that community service and go hand in hand with building those connections. And so it was an extension of the work that I do as well. And so I got involved with just a couple of things. I started going to things. I started kind of expanding my horizons and meeting people through work, and then expanding upon that, and then meeting the people of the people that I had met or whatever. Another thing that, and it sounds a little bit silly to join a gym for this reason, but we joined a gym owned by a couple of people that we really like here, and they have just done such an excellent job of building a community through fitness, and that's been a very cool thing for us that led to us really feeling like we were members of the community and really feeling like we were enjoying being where we are at.
I love that. I feel like personally, I feel the same. Like I recently joined this yoga studio and I feel like I've already made friends just from like seeing the same faces all the time. Like
Yeah,
it's not like
yeah,
the fitness is great and yeah, we need it, but like it's the people that you see every single time.
yeah.
And Stephanie, I know you
Yep.
also had the same experience.
Yeah, I was about to say, I really love the fact that you joined the gym because of those people who, you know, lean in on community and really build that up. Because the same thing when I first moved to Dallas, one of the things that I wanted to focus on was how can I get involved in a community? What are things that I can get involved in? And the gym was the number one thing for me because it opens up opportunities for you to
Mhm.
be a part of other organizations and meet other people and experience new things. So I really love that. That's amazing.
And then when you start volunteering for things and being active in things, that kind of naturally leads to opportunities to be able to um, participate in other things that are meaningful to you. So,
Yeah.
I love that. Is that kind of what your path was to being on the board too? Like you were like volunteering and doing stuff and then that opportunity kind of came out?
yeah, yeah. So one kind of I'm on a couple, so one opportunity kind of led to another, and then that led to another.
What does it mean to serve on a board? Like what kind of activities do you do?
Well, you go to meetings and you plan a lot of things.
The real tea.
Are these
Right, right.
meetings like, are they like monthly, bi-weekly? Like, what is the frequency of these?
Yeah, so it depends on the organization, of course, but most of the things that I am participating in are monthly.
Do you feel like these are more or less organized than like school PTA planning meetings? Do you do any of that? I've
I
heard some
have no
tea
idea
about
how to
that from
answer
some
that.
coworkers.
Oh, there is some tea behind that. 100%.
I'm going to say more organized.
Yeah, that's good to hear. That is good. Yeah, I had a coworker who was telling us on our work, we had a work trip last week, and she was just like going on and on about all of like the PTA drama she was dealing with. I mean,
Yes.
her kids were like older in high school, but I was just like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it's sounds so incompetent. I could not.
No, the same thing. One of my gym friends told me, and she has two kids that are elementary school. And the drama behind the specific moms in certain neighborhoods, I'm like, I could not be me right now. Not ready.
I can't
Absolutely.
wait for the future.
Oh,
Yeah, your kids are still young, so you don't
oh
have
yeah.
Yeah,
any like any like you don't have a lot of that kind of drama quite yet.
no, not yet.
Maybe that's a good transition into motherhood. Um, I'm just like curious, like in general, what you would like how you categorize motherhood, and then also like what's something about motherhood that you surprised you or like you wished that you knew because Stephanie and I are obviously not moms, and so we haven't talked about this on the
Mhm.
podcast before, but I feel like a lot of our listeners are moms and probably can
Mhm.
Yeah,
relate to that. So curious, like your thoughts there and what surprised you.
I think that, well, first of all, I love being a mom. Like, it is definitely challenging. I'm not going to sit here and paint a picture that it's the easiest thing that I've ever done because that's just not true. But it's also the best thing that I've ever done. I mean, hands down, I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I guess with that, like, it just surprised me how rewarding it is, and how much responsibility I feel for like being given this gift of my children. Um, because childhood is such an integral part of your life, like, and so you want to build the magic behind all of that. You are the magic behind all of that, and that's a big responsibility, but it's also beautiful.
I love that. I feel like what has been incredible for me watching like I feel like it has been healing for my own childhood to watch you mother. I don't know if I've ever told you that, but it is because I think that like you said you're building the magic and I just see you putting in the effort and I also think like we're at this age where like most people I know are parents, right? And so like
Mhm.
Yeah.
but I still have that perspective of I think what it was like being a kid and the traumas and
Hmm.
things that I experienced as that. So when I watch
Hmm.
parents, I am feel very like sometimes triggered by parents where I feel
Hmm.
like they're not necessarily like they're doing things that I knew hurt me as a kid and I'm like, "Oh." But then I see you and like other moms like you and I'm like, like you're just like incredible. Like it's very healing for my inner child to watch you parent. I think you're
Um,
really incredible.
Yeah.
well, thank you. That's wonderful to hear.
Yeah, I really love seeing you being a mom and thinking about, friends that I have here that are also moms. Two of my close friends here are also moms, and you all are just some of the most amazing, resilient humans that I know. And I'm just honored to be part of your story and part of your lives to see you parent and see you raise these amazing children into wonderful humans.
But like you said, it's hard too.
It is.
It is. Yeah.
And I mean, like back to like your do-it-yourself stuff, like you made your kids Halloween costumes last year too,
Yeah.
which again, I
I've
don't even have the
I've
energy to make my own. I was like, oh my God, this is incredible.
yeah,
And
I've
those
made them
costumes were
every year.
amazing.
Well, thank you.
Sorry, what did you say?
It's fun. Oh, I said I've made them every year. It's just something fun that like we do, and I I like the little creativity flex in that way, and so it's like, what do you want to be? And then she'll give me something, and I'm like, okay, I don't really know how we're gonna do that, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Um, okay, so we talked about career or we talked about community a little bit. We talked about
Mhm.
motherhood. What about just like friendships as an adult? Like we talked about our friendships and like the distance friendships, but what about like just making friends as an adult? We talked on the show before about how that can be hard and like
Yeah.
I've also interviewed Stephanie a little bit about this and because I think she's a pro at this. So like what's your take on making friends as an adult?
I also think that Stephanie is a pro at this. It's something that I feel like I struggle with a little bit. that gym that I referenced, that led to a lot of adult friendships for my husband and I. And we have a lot of friendships, like I would say phase of life friendship, where we have this really great community of people who are also have kids the same age as us. And so we branch out and we meet people that way. And we've met people through being involved in the community and through our church life and things like that. So I would say that that's probably where the majority of our friendships come from. And we live in a small community, whereas you both are in larger communities. And so the proximity thing, in order to make those adult friendships, it doesn't work as well maybe in a larger community.
What's interesting about how you describe that, and I think Stephanie, thinking back to the episode where you talked about this too, is like, I think both of you were making friends, like you made friends along the way while you were doing other things, right? Like you were trying to get involved with things that you wanted to get involved in, and then like naturally the friends come versus going out and being like, I want to make friends, and like that being like the main goal,
Yeah.
and then like I don't know, then all the anxiety that comes with that.
Right. Exactly.
Love it. Okay, another topic. What's your favorite form of self-care? Because you're juggling a million things. What's your favorite form of self-care?
Oh, this question is hard for me. I don't know that I have like a favorite form of self-care. I think that I definitely prioritize time for myself and doing things that I want to do without my kids. I think that I have a husband who's very supportive of that. And that is something that's important when you're looking at balancing things and taking care of yourself. But I like to go shopping. I like to take bubble baths, just little pockets of time to make me feel like a human in and of my own right, apart from, a mother to my littles. So
that. Plus you're in a gym too, so that's like self-care too on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, that's definitely one that ebbs and flows for me. My motivation kind of goes up and down as time passes, depending on what's going on. But yeah.
Really fair.
Yeah, that's still really nice though, being able to have those moments of self-care and being able to like step away and like kind of reset, recharge, and get back into what you're doing, which is nice. So wrapping up everything we've talked about, I want to know again, because now we've talked about self-care, we've talked about, making friends. How are you balancing all of this? How are you balancing your family and taking care of your littles, the work that you do, your typical 9 to 5, and then the local organizations that you're a board member and you're serving? Like, how are you balancing all of that? Like, what is the routine that like makes you like just making it happen essentially?
Yeah, I would say that Sundays for us are really critical. That's when we sit down and we literally compare calendars, and we do like the meal prep stuff. Like we literally sit down, plan our menu based on the menu, do the grocery store run, and then we prep, like if we can prep the quinoa, prep the farro, or cut the vegetables or whatever it is for that week. We prep everything to make our weeks go smoother. And then we sit down and we're like, okay, what does Monday look like? What does Tuesday look like? And we just go through the whole week just to ensure that things are running smoothly. And I will say, if we're busy and we don't get that Sunday, it feels much more chaotic. But it's communication, it's managing expectations. We can't be in a million places at once, and we just have to be okay with that right now.
That makes a lot of sense, given your like schedule right now. I think that makes a lot of sense to like sit down and plan everything. I think that's so important in order to make sure things stay harmonious as much as they can throughout the week.
Yeah.
Were you always this meticulous about your planning? Like at
No,
what
ma'am.
point did you guys figure out like we need Sundays?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a person that likes to be busy, and so it always sounds more fun to me to like go do the weekend trip and to like go be around people and do this and that. And we were just in a place where, I mean, it was feeling chaotic and we were having trouble with balance. And we were thinking, like, people do this, right? Like, this is not a situation that's totally unique to our family. And so, what can we do to make this work for us? And so, kind of giving ourselves permission to say no to other things, to say yes to us, is something that was really important. And we kind of just created a routine that was born out of necessity, but now it's a pocket of time for our family that we enjoy.
I love that so
That's
much. I'm
amazing.
like taking notes in my head too. I'm like, should Jamie and I sit down and like schedule our weeks instead of, the little, no, I need the car. No, I need the car.
Yeah.
Things that come up throughout the week because we only have one car.
Right.
I love that. Okay, so we do podcast games now on season 2. We have a
Okay.
couple today, but the first one we do is like, what is the ick right now? So Carlin, what is your ick right now?
Okay. So it is people who are mean on the internet and
Yep.
just mean for no reason, right? Like there's nothing that you have done to instigate this rudeness, and just people who are unwilling to hear reason. That term keyboard warriors is really accurate here. People are bold on the internet, and that's not a compliment.
Yep.
Preach! Absolutely
Yeah.
preach.
Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely, I 100% agree with that.
Do you guys still like engage with internet arguments? Because I've gotten to a point in my life where I'm like, you have zero, like you said, you're just mean. You have zero desire to change your behavior. You're just a troll. Right. You're just mean. Like, thanks for the engagement. Now move along. Like,
Yeah.
Right. No, I do not engage because I am not going to change their mind. I'm not going to educate it out of them. I'm still going to have a fulfilling life. And, whatever they need to do to get through their day is their business.
Literally, have the day you deserve because what?
Exactly.
I don't engage in, I honestly block them. I block them or I'll delete because I don't care about the engagement like that. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to get paid for that comment. I'm going to go ahead and delete it. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it depends on what it is for me. Like, especially if things like start piling into like arguments, then I like will delete stuff. I've had to turn off comments before, but I don't know if it's just one lonely troll sitting in their basement, just like saying something mean. I'm like, thank you for the boost. Appreciate that.
And like having a conversation with yourself is wild. Like, why do you keep commenting? Like, it's so bizarre to me.
It's like,
who are you fighting with?
What is that quote from Love is Blind that Laura said?
Oh, kick rocks with open-toed shoes.
That.
I'm getting that on a shirt or a hat because iconic. Please. I love that. When I find one, I think she actually, side note, she came out with merch and I'm pretty sure she came out with a shirt that says that. So I may have to purchase that.
Please do. Please do. I love
Add to cart.
Right.
Okay, Stephanie, what is your ick?
The ick right now are dating apps. As you know, out of the two of you, I am the single one in our little trio right here. And it's just dating is for the streets. Like, it's really not great. And I'm not jealous of y'all, but like I'm jealous for me because like y'all met your person at the right time. I'm just going to say that. Okay. And I tell my married friends this all the time. I'm like, y'all met your people when you did. And I love that for you. And I love every part of it. But for me and my other single friends that are struggling in these streets, it's rough. And so I finally, again, and I go back and forth on this and I've talked about this, but I truthfully, this time I'm done. I've deleted the dating apps. I'm over it because it's just the same recycled men who look like they fought their way onto earth. And I'm really tired of it. And so I'm just not dealing with it anymore. So I am going outside. I'm going out in the wild. I'm trying to be more social in a sense, but I just want to be in my bed. I just want to stay home. I don't really want to go out, but I'm forcing myself to go outside and be social and meet men in the wild because the dating apps, it's just not it. So that's the ick right now. Just, I can't.
Do you feel like the men in the wild are better? My opinion of men isn't great, so I'm just curious. Like,
I'm
my
trying to
husband's
be,
great, but I'm like, I couldn't imagine
yeah,
dating because they all seem
right.
terrible.
Both,
Like,
exactly. Both of your husbands are great. I don't want to put any bad juju, so I'm not going to say all men are X. I think there are so there are some gems, there are some unicorns out there. I haven't met them yet. So that's where I'm at right now. Are they better? I don't know. I guess I would have to find out. But at
more
least it's
data.
easier. Yeah, it's easier to meet them in a sense because you're skipping all the BS of like the talking and like they ghost you for 2 days and then they respond and going back and forth on an app where you can just talk to them in person. Within like, at least for me, I know within moments whether I'm like, yeah, I want to continue this, or I'm like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and just step away slowly with my drink and hope you don't spike it situation. So
Oh
that's where I'm
no.
at right now.
Okay, side note, I told you guys I was like up late, so late last night.
Hmm.
Part of that was because we were on YouTube watching a live stream of a bar in Fort Lauderdale. And y'all, this bar was like the bars we would hang out in college. And this just reminded me because you talked about spiking drinks. I swear, I was like, this guy's a creeper. This guy's a creeper. Like, just like, this is
No.
a
Was it?
live stream. I mean, nothing bad happened, but like, it was so fascinating to people
That's
watch.
wild.
And it's a live stream that's just on all the time in this bar. It's called Elbow Room on YouTube. We discovered it last night
Oh,
in a
is
rabbit
it
hole.
giving the
So,
home, the
yes,
home
a
party
hundred
club?
percent, 100% giving the home. Like multiple people got kicked out by the
RIP to the
bouncer.
home.
There was a couple fight we saw. We saw the creeper dude who was trying to make friends with everybody, and then
Oh
lots
my
of
gosh.
frat boys with sideways hats going on, and like it was so entertaining.
Of course.
I'm sorry.
Of course, that doesn't even surprise me at all.
Uh, well, I'm sorry that the dating apps suck so much.
Mm, such is life. It's fine.
Real life is better. Uh,
Yeah.
well, I already alluded to this, but my ick right now is going to be an overgeneralization, but I will explain. Men in power. So obviously been following the Diddy case going on, and for those that don't know, at least as of today, who knows what will happen by the time this airs, his houses were completely raided. There's a lawsuit against him for like sexual assault and sex trafficking, and it's just like a moment of reflection about very rich, powerful men, which we know doesn't start or stop with Diddy, goes much further beyond that. Some of the names that were listed in it were really interesting too, including Prince Harry. Obviously, when Jeffrey Epstein stuff had happened previously, there were a lot of famous names on there too. And it's just, one of those moments where, as much as I would say a little bit money hungry from like a career development, chase the bag kind of perspective, it's also like, I don't think I want to be hanging out in that rich of circles because it all sounds pretty freaking awful with a lot of really terrible men in power doing really terrible
Yeah.
things. I also
Yep.
just watched the Quiet on Set documentary. Have you guys watched that yet?
Not
Oh
yet,
my
but I
gosh.
have
Yes.
heard about it.
Like watching
Carlin,
that, I'm like,
I'm gonna need you to watch it. I'm gonna need you to watch it and then we need to discuss because but
I'm
I also
kind
need
of
you to be mentally
scared.
prepared. You need to be mentally
Yeah.
prepared that Nickelodeon is going to be ruined for you.
but the thing
So
is, it's
Yeah.
not just Nickelodeon. I'm waiting for the
I know,
Disney
no, no,
one's gonna
no.
come out next.
The
Like
Disney
it's
one
the
will
Right.
come
whole
out, but like,
industry.
yeah, but we're prepping now. Nickelodeon ruined, Disney ruined next. Like it's all of it's coming out. This is the year of like exposure.
Yep,
Yes.
And everything is coming out. And I also heard that there was a fifth episode coming out on the 7th
I saw that.
of April. So
And this is the Nickelodeon one.
This is a Nickelodeon one, yes. I think
Yeah.
right now,
Okay.
the way I watched it was on Discovery Plus. I don't know, Jess, how you watched it. Was it on there as well, or
I honestly don't remember what service we watched it on. I don't know. I don't know. One of them for sure.
one of them? Yeah,
It's on one of the
but
bigger ones though. I don't know if it's like Hulu or
it
maybe
might. I mean, it
Peacock
might
or
be on
something.
Hulu,
HBO, maybe maybe I think it was HBO Max. I think it was.
HBO. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, it's terrible. If you've seen all the TikToks, like you
Yeah.
know, it's
Yeah,
terrible.
it's
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's my ick right now. Any ick, terrible men in power. That's my ick.
Ugh.
Well deserved.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, moving into our next little fun game we're going to play. It is called Underrated or Overrated. So this is our new
Okay.
one. And basically the premise of this is that I'm going to list out like 4 or 5 different things. It could be places, people, things, whatever. And you will just tell us whether you think it's underrated or overrated. And you can expand on it or you don't have to, whatever you want. But that's pretty much it. Are we ready to play?
Excited.
We're
It's
ready.
controversial.
Okay, it's very controversial and I'm excited about it. All right, number 1, Crocs. Do we feel that they are underrated or overrated? Carlin, I want to pass it off to you. Crocs, how do you feel?
Overrated.
Do you care to expand?
They're they're not fashion. Okay, like can we just and with a caveat, I do have a pair. The reason I have a pair is because it was for my sister's wedding and I had to be a good sister.
You know, I respect you for that. I get it.
They're overrated.
I respect it
Jess.
as well, but I think you still have an opportunity to burn them at some point. Because I also feel they are overrated. What is so, I will go on a little rant about this. What is so fascinating to me is how Gen Z has rebranded these to be stylish. Because if you think back in our day, yes, I'm an old lady now. Back in our day, they were like, I'm sorry, but they were like super redneck. They were redneck. And then I remember back in the day being like, I will never freaking own a pair. I absolutely will not. This is like so redneck. Absolutely not. And the next thing you know, you see Chris Olsen wearing a pair with heels on TikTok and freaking like now it's like rebranded as like in style. I saw a woman at the airport wearing ones that had like a Chanel pin on it. And I was like, that is not Chanel. I just like, this is not
No.
completely overrated. I hate them. I will never wear a pair. I don't care how comfortable everyone says they are.
Yep, I'm right there with the both of you. I also think that they're overrated. There are other like shoes of comfort that are out there that you can wear. Crocs are literally not it. And it irritates me because I'm calling out my sister, Olivia. I'm calling you by name. Olivia has multiple pairs of Crocs. And every time I'm like, what are those? What are you doing? But she continues to get them. And so, of course, as the good sister I am, I also bought her a pair because she wanted them. I don't get it.
I can respect it.
Right. You get it. I am like, you know what? If this is what you like, I will get these. But she's now influenced my nephew, who doesn't have a say, to wear them too. But to be fair, I will say this: they look cute on little kids. I
They
just
are
cannot
cute
give.
in miniature, but so
They
is
are.
everything
I will
else.
say
They're
that
not cute
they're.
in regular size.
Yep, I agree. They are cute for little kids. I don't think they're cute for adults, and I'm going to leave it at that.
And that's a pipeline you're creating there. Like, absolutely not.
Right.
I disagree. Not cute on kids. I give Amy crap all the time for this too, because she dresses her daughter in them, and I'm like, that's child abuse. You need to stop. This is like not
See, I can't. I mean, I will. I don't know. I support it. I guess for kids, they are overrated. They are still overrated, but they look cute on kids. They do not look cute on adults. And if you have a pair and you're an adult, burn them because what are you doing? And if you're still wearing them, we need to have a chat. We need to have a chat because I
Start a
can
little
help you find.
bonfire.
Yeah, I can help you find better shoes. Literally
Choose
anything
ones that are
else.
better for your feet.
Better for your feet.
Yeah, like are they even good for your feet? Everyone says they're comfortable, but they look
No,
flat and I need some
They look,
arches.
they're not good for
yeah.
your feet.
And then they talk about putting them in sport mode. What is that? What is
It's
that?
so
What does that even,
redneck. I cannot. It's
what
so
does that
redneck.
even mean? What does that even mean?
We're not gonna go there. It's the absolute
Anyway,
cringe.
I could go on, but we gotta keep it pushing. Our next little thing. Pineapple on pizza. Is it underrated or overrated? Jess, I'm gonna kick it to you.
Underrated. I love pineapple on pizza. That's my go-to pizza is sausage and pineapple. That's why I love it when I can get a personal pan because nobody else ever wants it. So if I order as a group, I can't get it, but if I get my little personal pan, then I get it. So underrated.
Carlin.
Underrated. There's something about it. I just love it. I feel like it's like that little bit of sweet that you need in there. It's also my go-to. Stephanie.
All right. I guess I'm the odd one out because I think it's overrated. I don't think it's good. And maybe I need to improve my taste buds. I don't know. But I'm standing on business when I say that I don't like pineapple on pizza. I like pineapple and I like pizza, but like, why are we putting it together? I've tried it. Don't worry. I have tried it. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
What
So
is your go-to pizza though? Because that could be like you're craving what your go-to is, and this doesn't like fit into that category.
that's fair. I like Italian sausage, pepperoni, and onion pizza. So I'm very much like a savory,
You're savory, yeah.
very savory when it comes to pizza. Like I don't want my pizza, although I will say I do love hot honey on pizza. So that's where I get the sweetness, I guess, in a sense, is having the hot honey on pizza. But that's where I draw the line.
Wow, the world.
Not the head shake.
I don't judge people for that because I feel like majority of people don't like it. Like I'm actually shocked that there's two of us on here that do like it. I was not expecting that.
We might have to launch a poll because I want to see because I feel like
Ooh.
it's becoming increasingly popular low key, but again, I don't know. But I'm standing on business. I don't like it. Next, Stanley Cups. Are they underrated or are they overrated? Carlin.
Over.
Do you care to explain?
I have a Stanley. I do like my Stanley. I feel like it's still a water bottle.
That's fair. 100% fair.
And the reason why I think it's overrated is it is so heavy and like the Stanleys are kind of hard to carry around when they're full. Like I have the 40 ounce and I just feel like it gets a little bit heavier than other things I've drank out of.
Yep.
I
I feel
also
that.
think they're overrated. Um, would I take one? Yeah. I don't have one. Would I get one? Yeah. Would I fight someone in a grocery store for one? Absolutely not. Like I think anytime something gets to that level where people are physically fighting each other for it in a store, it gives me the ick and I like no longer want to be associated with it. So
Yeah.
I think like the one thing that I do wish my water bottle, because I see, yeah, this is my water bottle, is it doesn't, oh, you can't see it. It doesn't fit in the cup holder. And I like that the Stanley would. But I haven't
Mm-hmm.
purchased one myself, so overrated.
Have you seen the Simple Modern brand? Because those fit in the cup holder. Like the slim version of the Stanley. Those you might like. And it's not a Stanley, but
There's
they're still very
also
nice and yeah.
there's also like a brewmate that's essentially the same thing, and I haven't tried that one. But I
Hmm.
have a friend who has one, and you can like spin it to lock the whole lid, and then it doesn't even leak out of the straw, which is appealing to me.
100%. That, and I think the Hydro Jug came out with one that's very similar where it also has like a fold down like spout or whatever, like the straw like folds down so it also
Oh
doesn't leak,
yeah.
which is nice. But I actually agree with the both of you. I have a Stanley, same thing, but I also think they're overrated. I have actually never purchased a Stanley. The ones that I have been gifts. So
Mhm.
I would not go out of my way to get one. If it was gifted, I would take it. But there are other water bottles that serve the same purpose and low key are a little bit better. I have another pink one that's a simple modern one, which is why I brought it up. And I love that one because it doesn't leak. It's great for the gym and it's like it's sturdy. So I think it's overrated. Moving into now Disney in general. Do we think it's underrated or overrated? Jess.
Like I think it like depends on how we're defining Disney. Going to Disneyland,
Let's do it this way. Let's because
complicated.
I've actually never been to Disneyland, so like probably not going to talk about that. So let's do like the Disney as like a whole, like as an entity.
Okay, so this one, I'm sorry, I'm gonna break the rules here. It's really hard for me to say because I wouldn't say that it's underrated because I think people rate it very high.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't know that it's overrated either because I feel like it's pretty incredible. Now, as a company and organization, like again, I don't really any corporation has its issues. And like we're gonna set that to the side for a second, but like to think about the amount of like incredible storytelling that has come out of it and the way that they create their parks is like really intentional and incredible and in a lot of ways like game changing. I think it's pretty incredible. So I guess if I had to pick one, I would say underrated, but I do feel like they get the credit. So I don't feel like anyone's like, oh, someone needs to give Disney more credit or anything like that because like it's Disney. We know.
Yeah,
that's
I would agree with that. Yeah, I'm the same. Carlin, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm kind of mad at her for stealing my answer because I was going to say they are appropriately rated.
Yeah.
That was the word I was looking for. I was like, what do I call this?
Yeah, appropriately rated. Yes. I think that's I would agree with that.
I have been to Disney multiple times. So Land World, we did a cruise, and it's just such a huge part of nostalgia for my childhood, like the movies, the experience. And then when you're looking at well, I'm in customer service. So again, like they are the gold standard, like for customer service. I mean, their aim is to make everything just as magical as I remembered it when I was 3 years old. And they want to do that for every single person. And they do. They go the extra mile to make that happen. So but like Jess said, I mean, I feel like they get the credit and they customer service training usually has some little blurb from Disney about it because they have done such an incredible job with this. So appropriately rated, credit where credit's due.
Yep, I would agree with that. I love it.
What's your take, Stephanie?
No, I don't have a take because I agree with the both of you. So I said what I said is that I think it's appropriately late. I don't think that it's under or over. Disney was a huge part of my life. I grew up watching. I'm going to focus more on like the television network. I grew up watching Disney, Disney Channel original movies. Like I was obsessed. And so I loved all of those. I feel like it formed a lot of my childhood into who I am today, watching a lot of those. But I'm sure once that documentary comes out, I'm going to be like, oh my gosh. So for right now, we're just going to keep it even.
I don't know if I can watch that one.
I know. I'm like, I don't know. I don't
also,
know.
to be clear, I don't think that there's one announced. I'm just saying that I think one will come.
Right. There is an announced. So if anybody listens to this, no, we are not announcing that there was ever an announcment. There's not
we
one
don't
coming
have
out
insider
to our
information.
no info. We don't know anything. We're just saying things to say it. But yeah, I agree that it's appropriately rated for where it's at. So
I will say a fun girls trip, I will just say would be to go to Disney.
I'm here for it.
I agree.
I haven't been as an adult and I think it would be cool.
Okay, well, rack up your points and give me a call in a little while.
Right.
I just got 25,000 back, so let me know, y'all.
Yes. Build up our loyalty somewhere and we get there and we make it happen. Okay, our last over for tonight is Snapchat. Do we think it's underrated, overrated? I'm going to take this one first. It's overrated. Okay. First of all, we've had Snapchat for like, again, aging ourselves. I feel like I've had it for decades, a decade or so. It is overrated. I don't know why we still have it. At the same time, Olivia and I have a streak. I don't know why we have a streak, but we have like we snap back and forth daily. I know, but it's still overrated. Still overrated, but it's the sole reason why I have the app is because of that streak and our conversations that we as our group have. Um,
Mhm.
but it's overrated. I don't like it. I don't give out my Snapchat to people. If people are like, "Oh, do you have it?" I'm like, "No, I don't use it. I
That's like a
only use
red
it for
flag
you."
question, in my
It
opinion. If
is. It
someone asks you for your
100% is.
Snapchat, that's
I
weird.
think it
Be
is.
Red
And
like,
so
flag.
no.
I only use it for friends, like people that I know, and that is it. I
Mhm.
don't give it out to people. I'm not communicating with anybody on that other than y'all. Like that is it. So it's overrated. It's a waste of space, honestly. I should get rid of it, but it's fine. It's there.
The streak, though.
The streak, I can't get rid of the streak. And it doesn't mean anything. You don't get anything for it. You just have it.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
it. So anyway, Carlin, what are your thoughts?
I think it's overrated. Like, I have certain friendships that we communicate mostly via Snap. So it's a little bit hard. It kind of makes me mad that they're trying to make you pay for things that we've had for a decade.
That part. No, because
Wait,
why
what are
am I
they trying
paying
to
for
make you
face
pay for now?
filters?
You
No.
have
Have
to
you
pay
seen the
for filters
Snapchat?
now?
Snapchat Plus has like features that we used to use for free, and now it's in the plus version or whatever they call it now. And I'm like,
Yeah, they're trying to make
Snapchat,
it a thing.
be so for real right now. Like,
And I feel like there's stories that they like work it. Like they just feel very spammy to me.
yes, it feels like spam now that we're on there.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
agree with that.
Agree. I also would say major overrated. If it was not for our group like discussion in there, I would have deleted it a long time ago. In fact, I think you guys know this. I had the notifications turned off for it for like probably 3 years, and so then I wouldn't even
Mhm.
see anything till later because I felt like the stuff people were sending me were just like the same crap every day, and I was
Yep.
just like, not from you guys, but just like everyone else that I still had on there, and I was like I literally do
Over it.
not care. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
I never did streaks. I do not care. I don't have this like these people on any other social media but Snapchat. I don't even know why I
Mhm.
have them here anymore. And I would get so annoyed that my phone would go because I get really overwhelmed by notifications anyways. So I turn off that for a lot of things. So I only keep it for you guys. And if you guys wanted to migrate to a different platform for our discussions, I would probably delete it and be major overrated.
Oh yeah. We'll talk about that.
I love it. I love this under over. This is like spicy.
Yeah, this is a fun one.
Oh yes. Oh yes. More to come. But for now, we're going to close. And you all know that we like to close every episode by sharing the last drop of tea for the day.
But before we do that, we just want to thank you, Carlin, for being our very first guest at the Sisterhood Tea Party. We would not have wanted anybody else but you. And we want to ask if you actually would spill that final tea for today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. The last drop of tea for today is that although balance can be challenging, it is rewarding to explore and grow many different aspects of your life.
Love that.
I love
Okay.
it. I love it.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.